What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Move Groove Grow podcast. So this segment is just me sharing with you guys some behind the scenes stuff that's been happening between my YouTube channel, my dance company, and my social media company. So going off with my YouTube channel or personal brand, Emeroy TV. The change really is primarily the past 2 weeks have been a pretty big boom in terms of signups for the Patreon, but it's kind of slowed down. I have not had the chance to actually. Okay, so I've not had the chance to take a look at the data yet in terms of what brought in the huge boost of signups, but I do have a hypothesis that it was the announcements and the marketing and the aggressive postings for Street Man Fighter on both Temper Tantrum and for Emeroy TV. That, and also probably releasing a whole new batch of Patreon exclusives that is probably never going to see YouTube because copyright reasons. So speaking of reactions, I'm going to be filming another batch of reactions with Temper Tantrum in a couple weeks. That one's going to be specifically for Street Man Fighter. So if any of you guys have been watching on Patreon, hope you guys have been enjoying all that stuff. I'm also planning on filming another batch of reactions for Pop Star Academy with Cat's Eye, along with Max and Lauren earlier this week. And a couple other things I kind of want to acknowledge in terms of Emeroy TV for the patrons. I know that there's the request tier that I have not been able to get to in terms of doing requests. There's been construction happening here for the past 2 months. They're still doing it. I also live on the main street. I literally live like me, sidewalk, and then construction. And there have been moments where we wake up to the smell of tar being put down, also to the sound or the feelings of our house rumbling because the bulldozer or whatever, what is it? Steamroller. The steamroller is like literally right next to us doing the thing. So that's the house rumbling. That's one of the reasons I haven't been able to do any live streams in a while, because there's a lot of noise pollution coming from that. And I don't usually like doing the live streams at night because that's when Max and Lauren are also at home, and I'd much rather not have them both be hiding in a corner somewhere while I live stream for like 6 to 8 hours. So I apologize for the delay. I appreciate everyone's patience. I know that the requests are already pretty backlogged already. But I do plan on doing a long live stream once all this is done and taken care of. All right, so on to Temper Tantrum stuff. So this past weekend, we finished getting ready for upcoming September 22nd shoot. For that shoot, we are filming the routine or the number we filmed for Universal Rhythm called Love in Motion. Just to give a little context, because assuming that this is some of you guys' first time listening, Universal Rhythm is our sold out show. There's a sold out show that we did last year, and Love in Motion is one of the numbers. Love in Motion is a series of different types of love in the setting of a loft. So if you've ever been to a party, or ever been to a kickback or a club, there's a lot of different relationships happening: friendly love, first date love, meeting and courting love. I don't know, but it's been a while. So, but a lot of us are aware of the different types of love that exist. This one's specifically talking about romantic love, because I'm also acknowledging that there's also like the familial kind of love, but we're not talking about for this one. We're talking about relationship love, toxic love, puppy love. I forget, is that the term right there? Puppy love, where it's like the relationship is new relationship kind of energy.
Yeah, puppy love, honeymoon phase.
Yeah, the honeymoon phase. So that's the version. Those are the types of love we're going to be doing for this. And again, it's happening in a loft party, a little like a series of almost like vignettes happening. And if you're on the newsletter or on the Patreon, I've actually attached the behind the scenes previs that you guys can check out. If you're just watching this for free on YouTube, yeah, that's exclusive for the patrons and also for people on the newsletter. So click the link down below if you want to check all that out. Okay, so the whole point of the previs was essentially to help us figure out the lighting situations that we wanted for this location, because obviously lighting plays a huge role with the tone and the look of the film, and obviously we don't want to just spray and pray the day of filming. So we used a game called CineTracer, and we used Polycam to help 3D scan the whole space, again, to help us stress test and test different ideas without actually having to go to the set and to try to do it ourselves. It really does save a lot of time. But anyways, we are excited to see this version, how we transition from the stage to film, because I think it's just gonna provide a deeper, richer narrative for what we were trying to do with the routine. All right, so lesson of the week. So this lesson really hit home after watching Borderlands with Max. We filmed our reaction to that. That should be up on the Patreon. Like, if not this week, probably in a couple of weeks. One of the that Borderlands by far has been one of the most visually gorgeous in terms of set design, character design, everything I've ever seen. But everything about that movie felt rushed. Character development, relationships, pacing. And the movie reminded me that sometimes we want things immediately. We want to get to the next step, or we want things that we want. The things we want now, or even yesterday. But by forcing progress, things feel rushed, things feel awkward, or even unnatural. That's exactly how I felt throughout the whole movie. The relationships that they were trying to force on us, it was more like dialogue, rather than letting things marinate and sit. There wasn't a moment where we really got to sit with the characters and be with them or be with their environment to kind of take it in. It was more like, here's one thing, on to the next one. Boom, bah. There wasn't enough time to process, let things sit, let things marinate. This can apply to our own personal things. There are moments where we lack patience with ourselves. Others are projects. Why are things taking so long? So personally for me, that applies to the Universal Rhythm Revisited project. The original timeline for that was everything. We do all the rehearsals up until April, May, June. They're doing all the way to that, and then film all of July, so that we can do a lot of post production from August, September, and release it by October. That did not happen. We realized things are starting to feel rushed, and there's so much pressure every rehearsal, and there was a lot of moments where, is this, for at least for me, was this going to look good? We might be getting things done, but were they looking good? And that really hit home when we did our first shoot in our first day of production, or day of filming, on June 30th, where it was just 4 hours of stress, zero rest, just go, and then coming home and seeing all the footage, and it was just garbage. The timing for some of the choreography was off. Some of the shots were just terrible. There was small details that were overlooked. So that really bit us in the ass and cost us a lot of money. So going back into it, sometimes it's just better to let things breathe. Give them space. Give them time to marinate. So what we did was, instead of trying to film everything in 1 month, we decided to space things out. Give each shoot day its own dedicated rehearsal time, so we can be ready for the proper shoot day. Ideally, at least for me, we would be able to knock everything out in that month. But considering how our current circumstances are in terms of rehearsals, we only rehearse once a week. We had to be smart in our approach. If we were rehearsing every single day, we had the funding and all that stuff, the money for all that. We would just rehearse 3 times a week and probably get it done. But that's simply not the case. So we were working with the cards we were dealt, and this is the best current way, in my opinion, and just from experience, and how we were going to be able to not lose our minds trying to get this thing done, but also, more importantly, feel proud about the product that we are putting out. So outside from like film and our own productions, other ways that you can really apply that is maybe taking a step away for 5 minutes, or maybe taking a week off from a certain project to really get your mind off and let your mind relax. But also, don't let things sit for so long that you forgot about it or you brushed them under the table. Just find the right amount of time. Keep to your word. If you need 5 minutes to step away, so just to cool off for a certain thing, cool. If you've been working on a certain project for 2 weeks and you're just frustrated, maybe it's time to take a week off. That circumstance is very different if you've been working on a project for an hour and then you decide to take a week off. That's just laziness right there. So again, a lot of this stuff is more circumstantial. Find what kind of works with you in terms of letting things marinate, because don't let that kind of concept be an excuse to be lazy. Because yeah, just like with Temper Tantrums Productions, or even watching the friggin' movie Borderlands, where the pacing was so fast I couldn't connect with any of the characters, the dialogue, or the world they were trying to create. A lot of that stuff can happen in our own life, or in our own work, that we don't let things progress naturally, because we're trying to force them in a certain direction. That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.